Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a random game in my Harugumo. Going over the matchmaking threats to my ship. Honestly, not a lot of radar threats. Salem's the only radar. Yoshino, Ibuki, if I'm out in the open gunboating, they can be an issue. And then all the battleships, of course. This is Harugumo. I can have full pen damage from battleships. So, um, the Montana definitely, the Montana, lesser extent, the North Carolina are probably the two biggest threats if I get caught out, detected. So Harugumo, few people have requested this ship, and finally got a chance to get some games in it with King of the Sea going on, and kind of give you the rundown where I think this ship's at. I think this ship isn't as strong as when it was initially released. You've had obviously other ships come into kind of this close in HE slinging, uh, HE smoke slinging role. I'm looking at you, Smolensk. Um, and it's just, I think Smolensk does this role a lot better than Harugumo. Now, Harugumo, that's not to say Harugumo's obsolete. You can do some very nasty things with this ship. Um, and basically one of the reasons why I think that Harugumo has kind of lost a step is the matchmaker. DD's got capped at 4 DDs per game, and in general what that means is you're no longer able to pair up with a more stealthy destroyer, a destroyer that can work a cap or something like that, and that leaves you a little vulnerable when it comes to the enemy destroyers. You've got a pretty large detection. You suffer battleship AP pens, plus this boat is pretty sluggish handling, and it likes to eat torps. So while the reduced destroyer numbers that's helped you with less torpedoes, you're excuse me, you're not able to actively pair up and kind of make like these little, ad hoc divisions that you had on the fly here. Uh, really is worth the coal if you've got this ship. Going ahead and uh, get the engine boost special upgrade to get the extra minute on your speed boost. Really helps be able to, do situations like I was doing there. If you watched, soon as I was entering cap, I was popping my speed boost, and anything that I can do to offset, how, sluggish and clunky handling this boat is a good thing. I know that these Bismarcks probably have hydro up, so I'm going to split the torps, one on each. Uh, and now I'm just going to start kiting back because I know this Bismarck, he definitely has hydro up. this is this is really important here. Don't get so hung up on your smoke that you get, detected and punished. Um, the big headache from Kitakaze to Harugumo is the battleship AP pens. Um, it's absolutely not worth it to sit there and just get blasted by battleship AP. Uh, if the guys know how to shoot, you're gonna have a very rough time. So here I'm just kiting back. Now I should note I've got number 2 playing this game on my lap, so some of the cameras, where it's not as smooth as possible, uh, That's number 2. Scraping into some pasta right now. Saying hello to Roma. I think at this stage he was like climbing on my desk, but you know, finally get off the Roma and just kind of keep kiting. You know, these Bismarcks, they've got their secondary specs going, but it's not really doing a decisive amount of damage to me. So, just gonna keep kiting back, just try to be hard to hit, and just try to start dishing some damage out. Now, here is an issue that I have with my build, and this has got me thinking that I need to change the build. Basically, the build is I took Demolition Expert instead of Basic Firing Training or Superintendent. I do already have Survivability Expert as my first 3-point skill. Here I'm shooting at a Tier 8 battleship and a Tier 10 destroyer with Demolition Expert and both fire flags, so I've got a decently high fire chance, especially for the amount of shells that I've got slinging out there. And you know, 80 shells on target before I get a fire, it's, you know, I'm sacrificing basic firing training, superintendent, those skills to radically increase my fire damage. And you know, some games it's worth it. Other games you're just like, what in the world is going on here? So because matchmaking is less and less battleships, more cruisers, I am thinking highly about going back to basic firing training. Superintendent wouldn't be a bad choice either, with the exception of, you know, you gotta analyze and ask yourself that question. You know, how how often are you really using that force smoke? Now, that engagement right there, you saw me shoot Bismarck number 1 until I got double fires. He repaired. I switched to Bismarck number 2, threw a couple shots back out on him. He got a fire as I was already transitioning back to Bismarck number 1. I'm doing that to generate additional pressure on these battleships, trying to save my North Carolina and just carry the fight to the enemy, as much damage as I can. So here, just getting ready to push out, and boom, Shima gets spotted. And this is a quick way to have a lot of impact in the game. You just need you need to be careful. I don't want to expose myself to these ships down here. You see I'm slowing down right now. Give my guns time to turn, and boom, got myself the Shima. Now look where I'm shooting. I'm trying to hit a midship. I'm trying to break his torpedo tubes. There's actually one torpedo tube. And I'm doing that because that's the only way this guy's going to win. At this distance, Shimakaze can even smoke up. I'm going to kill him in the smoke. I'm just shooting too fast. I can just follow my tracers where they're hitting and, you know, just gun him down even from full health. I do spot the torpedoes so far out that I know that those are 20-kilometer torps, not going to bother. I already know that I'm torpedo safe, so just going to kite back around and see what this Salem and Montana are doing. You know, and this is another reset. You know, I'm looking to spot what I can spot, you know, safely, and then look for the damage dealing opportunity. Is it my torps? Is it my guns? Is it both? That's really the key to Harugumo. You're kind of opportunistic. Wait for your wait for your moment in time. Now, I was thinking that this Salem at this time would actually push up here because we've got these ships pushing across. It didn't make sense to me to have this guy, loop across. I thought either he was going to sit here, shoot over the island at these guys, or push through and get cross shots coming down while this Montana reverses. And, you know, turns out he just kites away, and that leaves me in a position where I'm kiting too far away. I only have 12.6 kilometer gun range, and I'm seeing, is this Salem going to turn back in? No. Okay, I need to get going and start running back south. And it is a misplay, me kiting back, still kiting back here. I've got the back of the Montana. He's not a threat to me. This is, open season. I should have jumped all over that ages ago, and it's just slow reaction time. And it is a misplay that you guys need to think about. Now this is actually kind of perfect when you're playing a gunboat. Uh, Efficiency. Okay, you've got your main target you're working on now, but you want to be moving to your next target. So uh, I don't think that I would get shots if I came in closer to this island chain. So it is working out pretty good, me heading in this direction. It's bringing me closer to these guys, and that's going to increase my efficiency if I do this right. Here, if they're not going to look at you, fill them full of holes. That's like the gunboat motto. Now with him down, I'm going to just sail hard as quick as I can south. Try to get in range of the Salem. I know this Ibuki's pushing north. Now with the way this Salem's pushing across, I kind of expect that this game's in the bag. We do have some low health ships, so just gonna be mindful of the situation, see if anybody gets sunk, and just kind of judge my reactions. But just trying to get in range, trying to get any sort of damage. Salem starts straightening out. That lets me get inside range and start scoring some hits. But I know this Ibuki's coming. But I don't think this Salem's going to live long. So I'm going to just going ahead and I'm just going to keep picking a fight. At this point, I've shifted to dealing damage. I want to deal as much damage as I can. And, go from there. Ibuki comes around the corner. He shoots me. I slowed down, was able to dodge it. I did think that I might have line of sight here with the Z-52 or the Kremlin. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. So, when the vision doesn't work out, don't stay in your smoke, because this cruiser probably has hydro and is rushing you like he's doing to me right there. He's probably killed a lot of destroyers doing that, but haha, I pop out of the smoke trying to keep him honest, and now he's in the open with a Kremlin, probably 12 to 14 kilometers away. Now here, I haven't really showed off the AP on this boat till now. The AP really can rack up a lot of damage quickly, and you can see the pins are starting to taper off, and at this point, HE is is probably the better ammo choice. But I thought that this engagement was really good to kind of show you the AP, how it works. You saw a flat broadside closer in. Uh, just really insane DPM. 3+ K volleys a shot every, you know, every sub, like, what, 2.8 seconds or so reload, I want to say. It's just really rough. And, at this point, I know it's just Yabuki left. He's not going to be able to cap anything. Um, so, was just being greedy, get as much damage as I can out of it. If I get sunk, no biggie. Um, in my opinion, it's good to try to bring in as much damage as you can, as long as you're not jeopardizing the game. So, gonna speed this up a little bit because my team is, trying to chase down this Ibuki, which is a fairly fast cruiser, and this Ibuki just wants to run. So, you can see a good while has passed. There we go. They finally got the Ibuki spotted. Now, at this point, the Ibuki, he should understand he doesn't have anything to lose. Um, by just, trying to pick a fight, even if it's just throwing torpedoes in a random direction. You never know, you might get caught. Um, my Japanese cruiser builds, I tend to like RPF on them, so you can kind of play them on the flank and keep track of where destroyers are and things like that as the game progresses. Um, but here, Harugumo, the biggest issues I see with people, they're too aggressive. They're smoking up in the face of torpedo threats, uh, where they're not angling away from where the enemy DD is. Um, they eat a bunch of torps. They end up having a crappy game. I see bad builds where it's just builds you're just kind of wondering what are they doing. It's like almost they put a battleship captain on it. Um, but the biggest thing that I could kind of give you for playing Harugumo, and that goes for all the gunboats, Kaba, Kleber, um, Grozavoy. Basically, push in deep enough where you can spot the battleships and the cruisers, and let your team know where the meat and potatoes of the enemy team is going. From there, you guys can make an informed decision about where you want to head later on in the battle, and if there's a damage dealing opportunity, um, you're able to deal with it then. Um, Harugumo and Kitakaze, all of these ships are very good at doing burst damage. You don't need to, constantly fire your guns all game. You know, if you can, obviously that's great, but it's not required to have a good game. You know, get in there, get the spotting, and let your team know what's going on, and then look for a way to pick them apart. And that really is where Harugumo excels. And we'll see if this ship finds its way back into the fold as a go-to ship for competitive. So I'm gonna cut this video off here. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hope you're having a good night, and I will talk to you later.